So this is just going to be a quick update on the wrist. I'd already shot an entire video, but it didn't work. I've had some issues with, I normally use Logitech Capture, and I updated my graphics card driver and it's just not working properly. So I'm using a different software called OBS, and I can't get the display to look right. Everything looks yellowy and blurry, so apologies for that, but it's the best I can do. So it's been 6 weeks and 2 days now since the surgery. 2 days ago I went back to the hospital to have new x-rays. So they do x-rays, well in my case they did x-rays 2 weeks after surgery and 6 weeks after surgery, as well as obviously but like after the accident. So I'm going to show you a before and after, like the x-ray after the injury but before surgery, and then the x-ray after surgery at the end of this video, just so you can see the difference and just how much damage had been done and how well they put it back together if you're interested in that. So after those x-rays and the chat with the consultant, I then had my physio. The other reason they do the x-rays and that is to let the physio know if they can start pushing the wrist a bit more and a bit harder, because everyone heals at a different rate. So if you're a slow healer, they can't necessarily tell the PT to start doing more intense stretches and exercises. In my case, everything appears to be healing at a pretty good rate, so the PT got the go-ahead to push harder with the exercises. So if you watched the last video, I'm basically doing all the same exercises as I went through in that, with the exception of one new one, because my extension is probably improving slowest out of all of them, which is quite common apparently. But she gave me a new exercise to do. So imagine I'm sat at a table, because you need a flat, hard surface. So you put your hands together like this, elbows on the table. So just pretend I'm doing that now. And then you hold your hands together and slide your elbows out and bring your hands down like this. You go as low as you can and hold it for 10 seconds and do that 5 times. If you get so low that the palms come apart like this, you've gone too low. So you need to keep your palms locked together here. So 10 seconds and then come up a little bit to relieve the pressure, and then 10 more seconds and do 5 times every 2 hours. If you can't get access to a table, like sometimes I'm just not at one, what I tend to do is like this, and then start pushing down on the wrist. You do have to be careful, but I did get the go-ahead to put quite a lot of pressure on now, so just doing that is a pretty good stretch, to be fair. But yeah, apart from that, everything else is the same. So I'll just show you what I can do now. Progress is slow, but it is what it is. So that's about what I can do for that. I think extension has improved a bit more. I'll do wrist together again. That's about all I've got compared to that one. What else have we got? This one. And this one. And actually, that's quite hard to do even with my good wrist. How can I show it? I think I did this last time, didn't I? So, like that. And then the broken one. That's quite tight, especially in that position. If I kind of Yeah. It's easier going this way. This way I feel quite a bit of tightness down here, which kind of makes sense because that's where one of the plates are. So she said at my last appointment that this movement had improved by 5 degrees. Same with extension, 5-degree improvement, and this one was 10 degrees. So I'd say this one is almost at baseline. In fact, I think it is, maybe about, it's probably about 90 to 95% of the way there, I would say. I mean, that's like palm to face, so that's pretty decent. This one, I think it's called hyperflexion, when you can move further than like what a normal person can. And with this good hand, I can probably turn that out maybe 5 degrees this way, like 5 degrees more than average, maybe. I don't know. This one's probably at about 90 to 95% again. And again, I get tightness here. I'm wondering if that's scar adhesion, which is preventing these movements from reaching their full potential. But it's still early days, so that's them. I'd say this movement still got quite a ways to go. I'd say that's probably at about 70% of the way there. And extension, I'd say that's about 60% of the way there. Maybe less than that. So anyway, yeah, I'm kind of blabbing. So that's the update. I want to use my old software, so I might have to roll back some drivers or whatever. I'm not sure, but I'll figure something out. And I'll just tack on the other video I did, the screen recording now, which will show you the injury before and after the surgery. So yeah, just a quick update, just to show progress and what new exercises I'm doing. Literally just this one every 2 hours, with all the previous ones I mentioned in other videos. So there it is. Hope this helps. The last appointment, I did actually manage to snap a photo of the wrist before the surgery, and here it is. And the consultant said when she first saw this image, she thought I'd fallen from a building or something like that, because she said the amount of force required to break, I think this is called the radial head or something like that, into that many pieces is just an obscene amount of force. She said the injury itself is like a 1,000 to 1 injury. It's extremely rare to see this much damage. So you can see here all these fractures. So it looks like there's one there, then one going through there. There's a fracture there, look. Possibly a fracture there as well, and a fracture here, and that looks like a bone splinter. Completely messed up, just completely smashed to bits. And then over on this side, you can't really see it, but she said there's a fracture down here, something like that. This basically snapped in two, and then I think this piece here snapped off as well. And then sideways on, you can just see how mullered it is. So this was when I was taken into the not ICU, just like the trauma clinic after the accident, and they did this X-ray, I think, on that day. And now this is had an extra X-ray. This is 6 weeks after surgery, and you can just see what an incredible job they did. It's completely the shape it should be, which is pretty crazy. Unfortunately, you can't really see much because the hardware gets in the way, but everything's just how it should be, basically. And that bone splinter there, you can just see possibly a tiny gap, and all this will just fill in with new bone as it gets remodeled. And then yeah, you can see here that's a little bit of a strange shape. I don't know if that will become an issue or not. I'm hoping not, but you kind of see like the crack there where that's still healing. But they did an incredible job. She said to me that the surgery couldn't have gone any better than it did. So yeah, I just thought you'd find that quite interesting.